Hello, and welcome to the Argyle CISO Leadership Forum. My name is Nick Ciavato with Argyle, and it's great to have everyone joining us today. A couple of notes before I turn things over to our esteemed speaker. First, a quick reminder to stop by our sponsors' virtual booths at any time during today's event and for the following week. Our partners are committed to providing you with valuable content and a great overall experience. At any time during today's event, you can visit their virtual booths from the main agenda page, which include complimentary materials, information, and meet and greet opportunities. To ask questions throughout the session, simply type into the Q&A chat and we will address your questions at the end of the session. Now, without further delay, I would like to introduce our speaker, Amit Basu, Vice President, Chief Information Officer, and Chief Information Security Officer, International Seaways, Inc. We are excited to have Amit with us for a keynote presentation titled Using Premortem and Postmortem Analysis to Enhance Organizational Resilience. Welcome, Amit. Over to you.
Thank you, Nick. I'm really very pleased to be here today and talk about one of my very favorite topic, very required topic as of today, that's organizational resilience. And how do we use pre-mortem and post-mortem analysis to enhance that? So a brief few seconds on resilience itself, so we are all on the same page. Resilience is the ability to withstand and recover from difficult conditions. And organizational resilience is the ability of an organization to withstand and recover from disruptions. It is important for organizations to be able to continue operating even in the face of challenges such as natural disasters, cyber attacks, and economic downturns. Organizations with high level of resilience are more likely to survive and thrive in the long run. Today, organizational resilience may be more important than ever because the world is becoming increasingly complex and unpredictable. We see organizations facing a wide range of challenges, from natural disasters to economic downturns to technological disruptions to even 1 in 100-year health pandemic. To survive and thrive in this environment, organizations need to be able to withstand and recover from disruptions. In other words, be resilient. And that's our today's topic. In today's presentation, I will focus on cyber resilience, which is the ability of an organization to withstand and recover from cyber attacks. As organizations depend more and more on their digital assets, it is important for organizations to be able to protect their data, systems, and networks from cyber attacks. Organizations with high level of cyber resilience are more likely to avoid or minimize the damage caused by cyber attacks. Cyber resilience is important for every organization today because of the increasing frequency and sophistication of cyber attacks. Cyber attacks are becoming more and more common, and it is only a matter of time before any organization is targeted. It is important to be prepared for a cyber attack and to have a plan in place to recover quickly and with minimal damage when it happens. Cyber resilience is an important issue for organizations of all sizes, and by taking steps to improve their cyber resilience, organizations can protect themselves from the devastating effects of cyber attacks. So, how do we achieve cyber resilience? The basic steps would be being aware of threats and vulnerabilities. Knowing about the latest threats definitely will be helpful for organizations to take the steps to protect themselves. Identifying the critical assets. One of the basic steps for achieving cyber resiliency is to know our critical digital assets. These are the assets that are most important to our organization and that would cause the most damage if they are compromised. Once we identify our critical assets, we can start developing a plan to protect them. Next would be line with implementing security measures. Implementing security measures such as firewalls, intrusion detection systems, endpoint protection, email security, data encryption, all these can help to protect organizations from cyber attacks. Training our employees. Training employees on security best practices definitely can help to reduce the cyber attacks, as employees are always the first line of defense against any such attack. Having a detailed disaster recovery plan, specifically a cyber incident recovery plan with detailed runbook, stakeholder communication plan, that can definitely help organizations to recover from cyber attacks a lot quicker. Finally, to note, cyber resilience is an ongoing process. It is important to continually review our resiliency measures and keep updating it as needed basis. In my today's presentation from now onward, we'll focus on how can we do the pre-mortem and post-mortem reviews and analysis to improve an organizational resiliency. Let's start with the pre-mortem analysis. As we talk about the organizational resiliency, the strategy to achieve organizational resiliency is never static. It's not like once we have taken steps for achieving organizational resiliency, we can forget about it and relax. Why? First of all, because today in every organization, the digital landscape is constantly changing. The attack surface, what we call, that's all the digital assets of the company, that's always evolving with new employees joining, new digital assets being acquired, changes in digital applications, changes in data, changes in overall digital architecture itself. That is the key cause of the digital environment changing. Secondly, global affairs like climate change, geopolitical events, natural disasters, etc., keep on posing newer threats to today's organization. Thirdly, today's organizations are deep-rooted in their global supply chain partners, and that supply chain landscape changes with every new business decision. We're adding new partners, we're changing our partners, so making sure all those external parties are working towards their cyber resiliency and maintaining a good cyber posture is also a dynamic challenge towards our own organization's resiliency. So the pre-mortem analysis can be referred to as a technique to identify the potential risks and vulnerabilities in a cyber resilience strategy, resulting from any changes in the organization before the change is implemented. That's important, that we do the analysis before actually making the change. In 21st century, there is not a single major business decision that does not include cybersecurity considerations. Cybersecurity needs to be woven into the entire change management process right from the inception. It cannot be an afterthought. Organizations need to focus on what is being called today the shift left security, which means thinking about the security at the earliest stages of the development life cycle as a part of what we call the DevSecOps, a collaboration between development, security, and operations. Conducting a pre-mortem analysis for cyber resiliency can help organizations to identify and address potential risks and vulnerabilities before they become a problem. It is an important step in developing and maintaining a robust and effective cyber resilience strategy. So what would be our pre-mortem analysis step? I would say any complex change in business that impacts the cyber resiliency strategy of an organization should be subjected to several pre-mortem analysis steps. First of all, define the scope of the cyber resilience strategy that is being impacted by the change. This could include the systems, processes, and technologies that are being used to identify, protect, detect, respond, or recover against cyber threats. Assembling a right team involving all stakeholders that are familiar with the change, the related business processes and associated digital footprint. We need to get everybody in the table. That would be the right team for analyzing. Brainstorming the potential failure scenarios. Imagining the different scenarios in which the cyber resiliency strategy might fail. These scenarios could include a data breach, a cyber attack, or a system failure. Then analyzing the potential future scenarios. For every future scenario, analyze the potential causes and effects. This could include identifying vulnerabilities in the system, weaknesses in the processes, or gaps in the technology, and accordingly develop mitigation measures. Based on the analysis of the failure scenarios, the mitigation measures will address the identified risks and the vulnerabilities. This could include implementing additional security controls, enhancing existing processes, or upgrading the technology. Finally, test and refine the strategy. Once the mitigation measures have been developed, we need to test them and refine the strategy to include those mitigation measures to ensure that it is effective in addressing the identified risks and the vulnerabilities. This could involve conducting penetration testing, vulnerability assessment, or any other form of the testing specific to the business. Next, we will move to post-mortem analysis. In the cyber world, we always say that it is not a matter of if you will be attacked, but it is when you will be attacked. It's only a matter of time before any organization will fall to a cyber attack. And that incident response plan and the cyber resiliency strategy will come to a real life test. In simple terms, post-mortem analysis is the lessons learned process. Post-mortem analysis is a technique used to analyze the causes of a crisis or disruption after it has occurred. This analysis can help to identify what went wrong, why it happened, and what can be done to prevent similar issues from happening in the future. This technique can also be used to enhance the resiliency by identifying gaps in an organization's response to a crisis or disruption and developing strategies to improve this resilience going forward. Post-mortem analysis can be used to improve organizational resilience by identifying the factors that contributed to the breach and developing plans to prevent similar failures from happening in the future. It can also be used to identify the factors that contributed either a successful or not so successful response and recovery actions, and amend the action plans to further improve in the future. Postmortem analysis is, of course, a very valuable tool for improving organizational resilience. By identifying the factors that contributed to the failure and success, organizations can develop plans to prevent similar failures or even further improve the success in the future and improve upon the response and recovery activities to minimize any damage. What would be the steps in a post-mortem analysis process? The post-mortem analysis reviews the timeline of the attack, root causes of the breach, the steps taken to contain the incident, the impact on the organization's operations, and the effectiveness of the organization's cyber resiliency plan. The goal of the analysis is to identify any gaps in the plan such as outdated policies, inadequate security controls, inappropriate team, or insufficient training for employees. The analysis should also identify any key learnings from the incident, such as new attack techniques or vulnerabilities that were exploited and how they can be mitigated in the future. And this information can be used to improve the organization's cyber resiliency plan, including updating policies and procedures, enhancing security controls, and providing additional training to employees. The first step is to assemble a team of people who are involved in responding to the event. Generally, it's the incident response team, but additional members could be added for getting all the perspectives. The next step is to gather information about the event. The information can come from a variety of sources, such as meeting minutes, emails, and the reports about the incident. The team should also interview all the people who were impacted by the event. Once the team has gathered all the information about the event, they need to analyze that to find the root causes of the incident, including any vulnerabilities or weaknesses in the organization's cyber defense plan or gaps in the employee training or awareness. Next, the team should assess the impact of the incident on the organization's operations, reputation, and financial well-being. The team will also evaluate the effectiveness of the incident response plan, including the actions taken by the incident response team, communication with the stakeholders, and adherence to the policies and procedures. Key objective of the postmortem analysis is to identify the lessons that can be learned from the event, which translates into finding any gaps in the organization's cyber defenses or incident response plan and developing strategies to address them. After review by the senior management and the board of directors, the team will then develop a plan to implement the lessons that were learned. That plan should include specific steps that will be taken to improve organizational resilience. And once the mitigation measures have been developed, the amended strategy should be tested and refined to ensure that it is effective in addressing the identified risk and vulnerability. This could involve, again, conducting penetration testing, vulnerability assessment, or tabletop rehearsals, tabletop drills to improve and making sure the process works against the newly discovered risk and vulnerability. So if we summarize the key benefits of the pre-mortem and postmortem analysis, so the pre-mortem and postmortem analysis for cyber resiliency should be a collaborative effort involving key stakeholders from across the organization, including IT security, legal, and executive leadership. By working together to identify and address gaps in the organization's cyber defenses, the organization can improve its overall cyber resiliency and minimize the impact of any future cyber incidents. Pre-mortem and postmortem analysis can provide valuable insights that organizations can use to improve their resilience and response to future crises or disruptions. The actionable insights that can be derived from these analyses are like identify vulnerabilities and the gaps. I think both pre-mortem and postmortem analysis can help organizations to identify vulnerabilities and gaps in their systems, processes, and procedures. These insights can be used to develop strategies to mitigate vulnerabilities and address gaps in resilience. You can develop contingency plans by identifying potential risks and weaknesses. It will help us to prepare the contingency plans to prepare for future crises and disruptions. These plans can include backup systems, emergency response procedures, and communication protocols to ensure a swift and effective response to any future crisis or disruption. As you know, effective communication is essential in times of crisis. Premortem and postmortem analysis can help organizations to identify communication gaps and develop strategies to improve communication both internally and externally during a crisis or disruption. Another thing is critical towards building resilience is employee training. Premortem and postmortem analysis can identify the areas where employees need additional training and develop strategies to enhance their skills and knowledge. Finally, resilience is not just a matter of having the right systems or procedures in place. Resilience is about building a culture within an organization. By conducting premortem and postmortem analysis, organizations can foster a culture of resilience that values preparedness, adaptability, and continuous improvement. I'd like to touch upon another very key aspect of any premortem and postmortem analysis. That's the keeping the negativity out of these tasks. The blames and allegations are common in premortem and postmortem analysis. This is because people often look to someone to blame when something goes wrong. But it's important to remember that the goals of this analysis is to learn from the mistakes to improve the future performance. Placing blames does not help to achieve that goal. So keeping the negativity out is an essential task. So we need to establish a positive and constructive tone. We emphasize that the goal is not to assign the blame or criticize people. It is for improvement, identifying the areas for improvement. We encourage open and honest communication so that people are comfortable about sharing their thoughts. Focus on solutions, not the problems. Instead of dwelling on problems, we should focus on identifying the solution and encourage participants to brainstorm on potential solutions. We should use data and evidence to keep the discussion objective. We emphasize the importance of learning from the past experiences and improve resilience going forward. If necessary, we can use a facilitator who should be a neutral person to keep the discussion focused or prevent it from becoming overly negative or contentious. And only keeping the whole exercise positive, we can get the best benefit out of the full exercise. Quickly touch upon creating the culture of cybersecurity. This culture of cybersecurity involves creating an awareness of importance of cybersecurity across the organization. Some steps that we can take to foster such a culture would be establishing an organization-wide cybersecurity policies and procedures, which should outline the expectation for the employees regarding data protection, data security, password security, etc. Provide regular training to employees on best practices, including phishing attacks, password hygiene, social engineering. Very important step would be lead by example by the leadership team. The senior management should demonstrate their commitment to cybersecurity by prioritizing it in their daily activities. Fostering a culture of collaboration across the organization. Encourage all employees to report any suspicious activity or potential cybersecurity incidents to the relevant authorities. It should be easy for the employees to report such incidents, and they should be assured that they should not be penalized for reporting. That way we can know about any potential breach early and minimize the damage. Conduct regular assessment of your organization's cybersecurity posture, identify any vulnerabilities or gaps, and take corrective action. Recognize and reward good cybersecurity practice. This will allow the employees to follow the cybersecurity best practices and report potential threats faster. Stay up to date with the cybersecurity trends and threats and communicate this information to employees. So by implementing some of these steps, we all can create a culture of cybersecurity in our organization where all employees will understand the importance of cybersecurity and will actively get engaged in protecting organizations' data and assets. So a few final words to conclude today's session. Premortem and postmortem analysis are two powerful tools that can be used to enhance organizational resilience. If we talk from a project management perspective, the premortem is a step that takes place before even a project starts, in which the team imagines what might even happen to cause the project to fail. The team then works backward to create a plan to help prevent such potential obstacles and increase the chance of success for the project. The postmortem, on the other hand, is an analysis of a project after the project is over. These sessions are commonly held to extract any learning the project team wants to share. Both premortem and postmortem can help organizations to identify potential problems and to improve avenues and develop strategies to achieve them. Premortems are primarily about preventing problems from happening in the first place, while postmortems are about learning from mistakes and improving processes for the future. Premortems can be particularly helpful for organizations that are facing complex and uncertain projects. By thinking through the potential problem before they happen, teams can develop contingency plans that can be put in place if necessary. Postmortems can be valuable for organizations that want to learn from their mistakes or improve upon their success. Postmortem can also help to build trust and communication within an organization, as they provide a forum for team members to share their experience and learn from each other. Overall, premortem and postmortem analysis are two valuable tools that can help organizations to enhance their resilience. By taking time to think through potential problems and then learning from the mistakes, teams can reduce the likelihood of failure and improve their chances of success. Thank you.
Oh, excellent, Amit. We have time for a couple of questions. Someone is asking, can AI play a role in making or breaking the resilient structure of an enterprise?
AI can play a role in both making and breaking the resilient structure of an enterprise. Let's quickly talk about the making. See, AI can be a very useful tool together with machine learning to carry out some of the analysis tasks that's currently done by human beings. And with sophisticated cyber adversaries, the more of those analysis and pattern recognition we can do with the help of AI and machine learning, will be better prepared to our resilience plan. We can carry out some of our forensic work, some of our alert monitoring work, even employee awareness work. We can use AI to track our employees' weak areas and try to train them. So these are the benefits that I can see, but obviously it can, once in a bad person's hand, it can also be used in a way to create more sophisticated attacks, which our current defense mechanisms or protection tools may not be ready yet to protect against. So it is a little bit of a double-edged sword, can be.
Okay, and the other question is, how important is a talent attraction? Let me take that again. How important is talent attraction and retention strategy for an IS strategy?
In today's world, or I say is a continuous life of a technology life cycle, the lifetime of a technology is so less nowadays. The technology fabric is changing so rapidly. I think retaining talent, retaining skilled talent, upscaling their skills, keeping them motivated, keeping them attracted is absolutely an important strategy. Because without the key resources in today's ever-changing world, it would be very difficult for any organization to have any effort towards resiliency or any success in technology.
And I think we have time for one more question. Are there any tools to analyze root cause?
There are not absolutely at this point. Again, this is where an AI machine learning based tools are getting looked into and can be beneficial. But as of today, there are more of analytic data analysis tools where we kind of analyze the existing incident data to come out, okay, at what point the failure happened, and using the forensics. So retaining the logs, have the ability either in-house or through a trusted partner to do sophisticated forensics on those logs are, I think, the two critical things to finding out what went wrong so that we can come up with some mitigation plan.
Great. And thank you, Amit, for such an incredible keynote. I also want to thank everyone else for joining us today. This session, along with all of today's content, will be available on demand following the event. This officially concludes the Argyle CISO Leadership Forum. Thank you again for joining us today and engaging in our content. Everyone have a great day.